Hi everyone, hope you're having a good day. While I was scrolling through Twitter earlier, I saw a tweet from someone who posts gambling content online, basically saying that gambling streaming on Twitch could well become extinct, unviable, unmanageable, undoable in the very near future because of new regulations by the Betting and Gaming Council. Now, this obviously caught my eye, and so I thought I'd look into it a little bit further. Now, whilst I don't believe actually this will be the end of casino streaming and gambling streaming on Twitch, certainly these new guidelines from the Betting and Gaming Council, who basically regulate all gambling except the lottery here in the UK, I think these new guidelines do actually have some real positives in there. Now, we can always agree that the regulation of gambling may not go far enough, or it could go further. But certainly, reading some of these new guidelines, I think they may actually have finally a bit of a positive impact. We've already seen recently with online casinos the introduction of sort of faster payouts, the abolition of reverse withdrawals, which is really good for player protection. There's new rules coming in about customer validation, so quite often a lot of the verification, certainly for UK betting sites, has to be done up front, so therefore there's no unnecessary delays with withdrawals. So we've already seen, and actually I should have said alongside this, we've had the changes in the games as well, haven't we? The abolition of stop spins, the minimum time required to spin on an online slot, and many other things besides, which actually all are positive changes. Now, like we always agree, regulation could go further, but certainly some of these new rules from the Betting and Gaming Council do look like they are taking this one step further, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Now, if I start with the Twitch thing, now the reason that this person was saying this could be the end of gambling streaming on Twitch is because unless you can guarantee that your audience are over the age of 18, no gambling is allowed to be targeted to anyone who is potentially under the age of 25. And that includes gambling streams, gambling content, but also gambling adverts, of which we know are quite prolific. Now, the reason this could be a problem with Twitch is at the moment there is no age gate on Twitch. There is no way of age gating your content. If you have a Twitch account, you can view all the content on Twitch. So the reason that, I believe that this isn't going to be the end of gambling streaming and casino streaming on Twitch is fairly obvious. This is quite a big section, of their content, probably quite a lucrative section when you take in all the advertising revenue and this, that, and the other. So they will, of course, introduce an age gate. I can just, it seems like a fairly sort of straightforward solution to this problem from their perspective. So I can't see this being the end of gambling content on Twitch. It's also going to apply to YouTube. Now, if it's going to apply successfully to YouTube, then YouTube are going to need to change the way they verify people's ages. At the moment, when you sign up for a YouTube account, it asks how old you are. That's it. And whilst there is an age gate in place, for example, my videos aren't suitable for minors apparently because they talk about gambling, even though underage gambling is a real problem. Because they're not suitable for minors, you have to have an account that says you're over 18 to view it. But at the moment, the way to get an account that says you're over 18 is when you sign up, you put in a date of birth that says you're over 18, and that's it. There's no verification, there's no validation, there's no background checks, nothing like that. So you could be 4, and if you're able to cognitively decide on a date that makes you over 18, you can watch any content on YouTube that you like once you're signed up. So if this is going to become effective, these new guidelines from the BGC, then YouTube and subsequently Twitch will need to have a much stronger, much more watertight validation process, which actually will require either maybe a voter's roll check, something like that, or the provision of ID, such as the way that if you're gambling online you have to provide. But either way, it could potentially be a step in the right direction, and certainly, actually, I would like to see the abolition of gambling adverts from YouTube altogether, regardless of the age gating. Because at the moment, this is a purely selfish thing. At the moment, whenever I watch UK gambling content, I get inundated with UK YouTube content. Sorry, if I ever watch UK YouTube content, I get inundated with adverts for online casinos, for betting sites, all of those sorts of things, which obviously I don't want to see. Also, my YouTube channel is monetized. Now, you wouldn't know at the moment that my YouTube channel is monetized, and the reason you wouldn't know that is because there's no adverts on. Because the second I put any adverts on my videos, because there's gambling in the title, or gambling in the tags, or whatever, because that's the nature of what I talk about, this will be flagged up by their automated algorithms, and suddenly I'll be bombarded, or be bombarding my viewers with gambling adverts. And obviously that's totally counterproductive and really not worth the £1 or £2 a day that I might actually garner from my YouTube channel. So at the moment, yes, my channel is monetized, but you won't at the moment see gambling videos. You won't see adverts on my videos because I don't want to subject my subscribers to gambling adverts. I will actually at some point probably do a test on this. This is just as an aside, and I might actually put up a video that is monetized. Just as a test to see if I can, because I don't know anything really about this, just to see if there's a way that I can put maybe the odd little advert here and there on things just to raise a couple of quid, really, help towards me gambling debts, and somehow, specify what kind of adverts I don't want on my videos. So if you guys are happy to sit there and look at a little static banner out at the bottom, or maybe watch a 6-second advert at the beginning for Kit Kat Chunkies, or I don't know, Felix cat food or whatever, to help support me, that would be great. But what I don't want to do is subject you to anything that could be, negative in your recovery. And also, it would be incredibly hypocritical of me to make these videos to talk about my gambling problems and then litter my videos with adverts promoting Ladbrokes, wouldn't it? So that's the last thing I want to happen. That was an aside. Okay. The other thing, which actually was buried within this article that I was reading, was talking about whistle-to-whistle bans on betting adverts during sport. Okay, now this immediately made me think, well, actually, if it is, that's clear cut. If it is whistle to whistle, so from the beginning of a match to the end of a match, really all that's saying is that you can't have gambling adverts at half time. Now that's a positive. In fact, I don't know what kind of adverts you'd actually now have at half time in football, because historically it's basically all been gambling adverts, possibly with a Domino's pizza advert thrown in for good measure. But if it is just whistle to whistle, they can still advertise gambling before the game, and I guess after the game, and between different matches on like a Sunday where there's 3 back to back. But it did also get me thinking, because this is the way my brain works, was what about cricket? Does that mean you can't have any gambling adverts on Sky Sports Cricket for 5 days? Well, let's hope so. I very much doubt that's going to be the case. But if the game's lasting all day, does that mean there can't be any gambling adverts at any point during the day? Or is that purely going to apply to things like football and rugby, which have a sort of a very solid start and finish time? Who knows? Only time will tell. But again, it's a step in the right direction. Now, the BGC guidelines are basically saying that their priority is to eliminate underage gambling, and I think they are taking some good steps to do that. They're increasing the gambling safety measures on basically things like FOBTs, applying call-off periods, applying gambling limits, so you can set your limits before you play. Whether or not this is going to make any difference, who knows? I mean, there's already all the safe gambling options on there that at present isn't there, and the vast majority of people, quite realistically, just go bonk, 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 skip them, close all the windows down, and just crack on with their gambling. So time will tell. But they're also talking about bringing in greater age validation checks in bookies, whether that'll be on the machines themselves or whether that be something that has to be actioned by the staff. Ultimately, that's going to tell how efficient these measures are actually going to be. But again, although these might not be waterproof or watertight at the moment, at least it is a step in the right direction. Hopefully, it will start pushing sort of responsible gambling further and further forward. 20% of all gambling adverts now have to be a safe gambling message. I thought, to be fair, there was already regulation around that already, which is why Ray Winston always tells you to remember to gamble responsibly. I won't even say their name, but you know what I mean. So it all sounds like it's a positive step in the right direction, but as we know, with all these gambling regulations, look at the minimum stake on FOBTs, look at all these other things that they, getting rid of bonus buys and stuff like that, all these measures that these I can imagine, quite honestly, well-meaning organisations like the BGC bring in, the gambling companies, the gambling suppliers, the bookies, the online casinos will normally find some devious way around it in order to sort of continue to maximise their revenue take. But we shall see. Sorry, this video is a bit all over the place, not scripted at all, but just wanted to sort of let you guys know. What I'll do actually is I'll link the actual original article in the description below, and that way you can have a look at it and actually read it. Let me know what you think. And yeah, of course, as always, I shall catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.